Good morning, my gorgeous friends on the internet. How you doing today? In this episode, we're going to develop this small little landing page, as you can see here, that has these small little slick animations to it. So we're going to use GSAP for this, and it's going to be fairly simple. So I highly recommend you to do it with me. All right, and the reason we're doing this is to give a bit more personality to your websites, and you can kind of configure it the way you want. And this is probably one of the main reasons I also got into front-end web development. I love animations, I love showing and expressing different things on a website. And how I got into animations, well, my mom used to throw these flip-flops at my head when I was a child. So she used to throw, and I was really fascinated by that motion, you know? I thought... And before we get going, let me know down in the comments if you use anything for animations, what libraries do you use, or if you use any. Okay, everybody, let's get started. So let's go here. And the first thing we're going to do is you're going to go to Google, and this is a searching platform. It's very cool. It's very new. And we're going to search for CDN TweenMax. All right, this is what we're going to use for animations. So TweenMax is used to animating things, and we're going to use TimelineMax to chain together multiple animations. Okay, cool. Let's get the TweenMax here. You can click copy, or you can click copy script tag. And let's go back here. We can create an index.html, generate the page, hit save. All right, I don't know what this is, so let's stop that. And we can just drop it in here. Boom, perfect. Let's get so we have TweenMax. Let's also get the TimelineMax. Where are you? TimelineMax. This is the one we're gonna get. So copy, script tag, boom, 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 place it in here, drop it, perfect. And we can also create our own script tags. So I'm gonna create script source, and we can drop our own app.js. That's how we're gonna call it, basic. Boom, boom, boom. All right, we have everything we need. All the scripts, perfect. We can also do a style.css. We can link it up here by saying link tab /style.css. Boom, everything up and running, perfect. Let's drop in some HTML in our body. Yeah, okay. What we're gonna do, very simple. We're just gonna have a header here, a nav inside, and I'm gonna, if you want the specific image I'm gonna use, and I also have a hamburger there, you can get it off my Patreon. I'm gonna leave a link in the description, but to be honest, you can also just use any image you want, or a hamburger. You're gonna find a ton on the internet. But that's the one I'm gonna use now. So I have an image folder here. I'm gonna copy over, hit paste, and just the burger basically, and this nice car. All right, this is my future car after I have 100,000 subscribers. Okay, so let's insert these in here. First of all, I'm gonna do H3. Let's do an ID of logo. All right, I'm just gonna add some text here. Dream vacation, because who has time to create logos? Nobody. Okay, an image. And this is where I'm gonna drop the hamburger. So burger, and alt is gonna be hamburger. Let's also add a class to this of hamburger. I'm getting hungry, okay. That's all we need in here. So we have our header, and outside of the nav, I'm gonna create actually a section for like the big image, okay? So this is where we're gonna place the bus. This is gonna be just a section here, and I'm gonna add another class here of hero, and here is where we're gonna drop our image. So image dream vacation. Okay, that's what we're gonna have. I'm also I don't think we need a class for this, to be honest. That's all we're gonna have. And let's also add a H1 here, which is gonna be our headline. And this is gonna say something like dream big. Okay, so that's pretty much all we need. And actually, outside of everything here, we're gonna create a slider. And what this is gonna be is we're gonna kind of transition the background image on top of everything. So I'm gonna keep this separate because I wanna animate it on top of everything in here. Okay, so this is all we need. Hit save, and let's style this sucker up. Let's open up with live server, and this is what we have so far. All right, nothing too interesting. And actually, you know what? We cannot see that burger, so let's get this background showing up from the start. So the slider thing. So let's just remove some basic styling here with margin 0, padding 0, and box sizing border box. Okay, just some basic styling removal. We can get the slider, the one I'm talking about. And for this one, we can just do, so if you want to place anything, any div on top of something, you can just add a position absolute to this, and then you can kind of move it wherever you want. I'm going to move it top 0, so the top of the screen, and left 0, which is going to stick to the left of the screen. And we can add width 100% and height 100 VH, which is going to be full screen. And we can do a background of light blue so we can see what's going on. Okay, so this is what we have. So as you can see, it's just a blue thing on top of here. Now the problem is this is kind of covering everything up. So if you want to move something to the back so everything else pops up in the front, you can use Z index, and the negative value is going to put it to the back. So if I say -1, that's going to drop it to the back because everything is 0, just like my life. Okay, so as you can see, we also have the hamburger showing up there. Very, very cool. We're going to change this up. We're going to add a linear gradient to this. Let's do it now. Linear gradient. I use 2 colors for this. We can say to left. This is the direction I want to go in. And it's BA7453. All right. And the second one, we're going to use, not dollars, we're going to use D1A984. Okay. Hit save. No. Save, and let's add 1 here so we can see. So this is kind of what I was going for. I kind of took the colors off of this image, so it kind of fits everything nicely. All right, let's add -1 back here. Oops, there we go. Okay, let's kind of style this thing up here, the nav. And we can do it with Flexbox or CSS Grid. You know what, let's do CSS Grid because people like that. So we can just grab the nav, and we can say display grid, and we can create some columns. We can say grid template columns. All right, I want to have margin 10%, 1FR, 1FR, 10%. All right, let's take a look. So now if we take a look, we have 10%, 1FR, 1FR, and 10% here. Okay, and what I want to do is move this here, and then this here at the end. Okay, let's also give this a bit of height. So we can say min height of like 10 VH. I want to make sure it's at least that big. Okay, that's good. And let's add a color white so everything is white. And yep, that's good too. And we can just move these around. So I can grab the logo, and if I want to move it here, so where the hamburger is, I can just say grid column. And then I can start counting. So if we take a look here again, this is where the line starts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I want this to be here, I can say from 2 to 3. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to say from 2 to 3. All right, let's also give a font size of 24 pixels and hit save. And this is automatically going to jump here because it's the next element, and it's just going to drop it into the next column. So everything is fine. Everything just works perfectly. To move everything in the center here, all we have to do is go up to the nav and say align items, and we can say center. There we go. Perfect. Now I want to move this to the end here. So we can just grab the hamburger, and we can just say justify self end, and we can move that individually to the end. Then there we go. That's all we need. Everything is done. Everything is perfect. Let's get that hero class. Actually, let's get that section. So let's work with this big image here because it's not nice. If you remember, we had a section here with a class of hero and the images and the text. So let's get the hero for the section first. And I'm just going to add a display flex to this. All right. I'm going to add a height of 80 VH, make it a bit smaller. All right, like that. And then I'm going to, before we move on, let's get the hero image and make it hero image and make it a width of 100% and a height of 100%. So it kind of sticks to our container so we can see what's going on. Okay, so this is what we have here in the section. We added display flex. And the reason why I did this is because I kind of want to move it here in the center. We can do justify content center, align item center. And I believe that's all we need. Now this doesn't work yet because we also have to do the hero. All right, and if we make it smaller, something like 60%, and let's add a width of 100%, now you're gonna see that it kind of shows up and centers everything. So let's do 80 here. You're gonna see what's going on. So this is our big section here. Let's add a background color. Kind of want you to see and visualize how everything works here. So this is our actual section. And now that we added a justify content center and align item center, it drops it perfectly in the center here. And what we're styling here with the image is actually this hero. So if I change this to 100, you're gonna see it stretches. And if I add 100% here, it's gonna take up that section's height. All right, so let's drop everything back to the way it was, 100 here, like that. And yeah, that's all we need here. We can get rid of this, hit save, and now this doesn't look that good. So what we can do is go to the hero image and we can say object fit, cover, not contain, cover, hit save. And as you can see, it kind of zooms everything in so it doesn't look that stretched. Okay, let's also move the headline here somewhere. So we can get the headline and we can say position absolute. Again, we can kind of move it wherever we want this. I'm gonna say top 70%. You can kind of experiment with this. I'm gonna do it like that. I'm gonna do a crazy font size of like 100 pixels. And I'm gonna translate this to -20% and -70%. Hit save, let's take a look. So this is where it is, very good. And what we're gonna do is say color, white, like that. And let's add a left of 10% here, like that. And we're kind of gonna move this and position it a different way in just a bit. All right, let's not worry too much about this for now. Okay, that's what we need. What we can do, we can make this darker if we want. So this image here, and a simple way you can do that is you can do hero after, like that. And you can just add content of nothing. This is kind of like generating another div out of nowhere. This is what this does, the after. And we can just drop in a background of, oops, let me close this like so. We can do a background of black, and we can do a width of 100%, height of 100%, position absolute. All right, so as you can see, it just generates another one of these things. And we can drop it right on top. Left, 0, top, 0. And as you can see, it covers everything now because it's relative to the document. We want this to be relative to that actual hero image. So what you can do is you can go back to the hero here and you can say position relative. All right, so now it's going to be relative to that. So it's going to stick to this like that. And what you can do is just lower the opacity here on this black thing, 0.3, something like that. And as you can see, you have more contrast. But Ed, our text is also like that. We want this to pop out more. What can we do? Well, remember that we can move something to the front with z index. Well, we can do that to the headline. We can say z index and just give it a big value like 3. And now it pops up on top. So there we go. That's what we have. All right, that's kind of it with the CSS. We're not gonna go to, like, you can make this as nice as you want, but for now it's fine. Let's go into the animations because hey, that's what we came for in the first place. So let's go into here, app.js, and we can say const hero, and let's just select everything on the screen. Document.query, selector, and we can say hero. All right, let's copy this multiple times here. I'm gonna get the slider. All right, so the background image, it's gonna be slider. We're gonna get the logo. Now be careful, this is gonna be an ID here, so ID of logo. We're gonna do hamburger. This is gonna be hamburger. And lastly, we're gonna do headline. And this is gonna be also headline. All right, we have everything selected. Perfect. So what we can do is we can create a timeline by saying TL equals new TimelineMax. Make sure this is lowercase here. I messed this up multiple times. And now with this TimelineMax, we can chain in together multiple animations. So what you can do is you just say TL like that, and you can do dot from to, and you can define the element you want to animate. So this is going to be hero. That's the first one. All right, which is basically the container of the image. So hero, then the duration. So 1 second I'm gonna do, and then it's gonna be an object with the starting position of your animation. So how do you want the animation to start from? And here you can do something like height. I want it to start from 0%, all right? And then what you can do, add a comma, and I want it to end at height 80%. Make sure to add these in quotes as well, like so. All right, that's all we need. We can hit save and take a look. This is what we have. Now, the reason we're doing it with height, I mean, technically you could do this with scale. Like, the reason I'm not doing it with scaling would be more performant as an animation. But if you mess around with scale, you're gonna get that squishy thing going on. So transform, scale, and we can scale on the y-axis of like 0.5. So you're gonna get that squishiness going on here. So if you're gonna animate this from like 0 to like 0.2, it's gonna look kind of funny. What you can do if you want, I mean, you could add an after and before element, and you can like transform and translate those from here, from the middle outwards like that. Or there are like a few tricks you can do this, but to be honest, it takes so much effort that I don't think it's worth it. It's worth that small little performance boost over something so simple. So what we're gonna do is just stick to the height, because hey, simplicity always wins. Okay, so we have this height, and we can also add an easing if we want to this. So in the second object here, you can specify an ease, and you can say power. There's a lot of these. You can check out the documentation. Ease in, out. All right, this is the one I used. And as you can see, it kind of does it in a bit different way now. Perfect, so that's the first one we're gonna do. Now, if you wanna add multiple animations to this, make sure you don't close this. So leave this, remove the last line here, and you can just do from to again. Okay, if you want to just do 2 and you don't want to specify a starting point, you can just do 2 like that. But we're going to do from 2. Okay, the second thing I'm going to do is, again, the hero, and I'm going to do let's do 1.2 seconds on this. I'm going to do width now of 100%. So this is my starting point, and the ending point is going to be width of 80%. And what we can do is we can just copy this ease from here to here. Like that. Hit save. Let's take a look what we have. And take a look, since we have that cover added on the image, we have this nice weird little transition going on there with the image. It kind of, I don't know, it looks very cool. I like it. Take a look. So that's what we have. Perfect. Let's do another one. Let's do the sliding in. So from to, and what we can do is say slider. Let's do 1.2 seconds. What we want to do is move the X. So this is kind of like transform, translate X. All right, in GSAP world. We can move this to -100%, which is going to move it off screen. And now to move it back, all we have to do is say X 0%. All right, and we can just copy this ease function again from here to here. Hit save, let's take a look. Now, as you can see, everything kind of just goes in sequence. But what if I want to start this animation a bit sooner, so the background? I mean, this can work too. Like, if you like this, you can keep it like this. Whatever floats your boat. But if you want to start this sooner, what you can do is you can exit the second object. You can add a comma here, and you can specify in pair of quotes, you can say minus equals, and the number of seconds it should start sooner. So if I want this to start exactly like this one, I can just look at the timer on the previous animation and copy that. So 1.2. So I can say minus 1.2, and that's going to start exactly when this starts shrinking with the width. All right. So right when this animation starts, that's when this is going to start as well. So I like that because I don't have to wait 10 hours for the animation to finish. So I'm actually a big fan of doing it like this. Now you can do small ones if you want. If you really want to be fancy, you can do these, the logo and the hamburger. So we can go down here, we can say from to logo, and we can do a 0.5. So something a bit more nuanced. Opacity, and we can just mess around with the opacity. I can say 0. We can also do X, move it 30. And then when the animation finishes, what we can do is say opacity 1, and we can say X back to 0. Okay? And we can delay this as well by adding minus equals, let's say 0.5 seconds. Hit save. As you can see, it kind of slides in there a bit, like that. And we can do that to the hamburger too. So we can just copy everything here. Make sure to remove again the last one there. Just paste this and replace this with hamburger. And then we can delay this a bit more. Let's say 1 second. Hit save. There we go. Or maybe let's do 0.5 on this as well. All right, there we go. Very subtle, just a little bit of animation there. You can also do it on this text if you want. You get it, it's kind of the same thing. We can copy paste this. We can just do headline, hit save. So if that's something you want, you can do that as well. But that's it, quite simple, quite powerful. I love GSAP. It's so simple and fun to work with. And yeah, you can come up with some very creative stuff. So there we go. Thank you for joining me on this little adventure again. Quick update, I'm gonna post a discussion type video in the coming days on my Patreon. So if you remember, that's coming. If you want to join me and support me, you can do that with Patreon, and I'll try to also give you back some additional videos and all the source files and things of that sort. I'm also planning additional tutorials, so exclusive tutorials to post there as well. So if you want to see more, definitely check out the Patreon in the description. And that's it. We're close to 100,000, which is crazy. I want to thank you all again. I feel like I'm doing this every time now. I'm just so grateful for all of your support. So thank you very much. And hey, let me know if you want to see more of these animation type videos, because they're probably one of the most fun things to do. I don't know, I just like visual things a lot. So yeah, that's it. I also need to do magic, okay? I forgot to do magic. So that's coming in the next episode as well. All right, everybody, have a wonderful, wonderful day.